Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. I'm, of course, Nick McDaniel, and as always, I'm joined by my Mud Myron.
Hello, folks. This was a horrible, horrible show to prepare for, namely because Nick spent the last hour reminding me what a horrible childhood I had. And had it not been for professional wrestling, I probably wouldn't be here. God
Yeah,
almighty.
we
I
really.
lived in the Stone Age.
That's an understatement. Yeah, we're going to discuss a little bit about what brought us to that reality. But before we do, look, before we get super running, and we always try to remind you before we get jumping and running, youtube.com, the handle's Tapped Out Pod, or you can just search out the youtube.com, search Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. Find us over there, subscribe. We always tell you, like the page, turn your notifications on. Become a member, even get the show early and all that good stuff, and any bonus content we throw out is in there as well. A couple more writings came in this week. I'm glad to see the old Midnight Riders back and publishing out stuff. So on our Patreon page and our YouTube channel, all the members are getting those extra bonus writings as well. But Myron, let's tell the story of how we discovered
Well,
you lived what?
I lived somewhere across the international date line and the international timeline.
And the funny thing is, Myron, I'm assuming the people that in that pocket of land that you're talking about where you lived, this is going to be devastating news.
Yes, Central Alabama in the 1970s and 80s. We only had 3 channels. Everybody's like, well, we only had, we didn't. No, we couldn't get cable TV because we lived on a goat farm, and we couldn't get satellite TV because nobody put a satellite where we were. So we would go to the video store to get a wrestling pay-per-view after it happened. And WWE was really good. This was back in the VHS days where they wouldn't tell you what happened on a pay-per-view for a while. So you'd have a chance to actually go out and rent it or buy it. Not like today when guess what they're doing today, Nick? What's happening today?
Well, if you're wondering why we're even discussing video and VHS and all that great stuff, it appears that WWE Home Video is coming to an end again. Now, funny people are like, what do you mean again? Well, so first and foremost, it's being said that it's the end of this year will be the end. Now, we heard this back in 2022, by the way. Going into 2020, not the end of 2020, so end of 2021, we heard this, and at the last minute we were saved. They continued. Here's the thing: I didn't know they were still doing it in 2021, 2022. So
I haven't seen a DVD or anything, but I mean, like I said, we would go to the video
store, yeah,
and we would get the tape.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Was it located inside the Piggly Wiggly or?
It was usually near the Piggly Wiggly or the Lucky's Food Mart.
Well, you remember Ingles used to have like the video store inside.
We didn't rate Ingles.
Okay, so my point was that's why I asked you, was it inside the Piggly Wiggly?
Down the evolutionary scale from Ingles.
Yeah.
Okay. It was hard times. It was hard times in Central Alabama. Okay. So we would go to the video store sometime. It was actually one of the video stores near the first pharmacy I ever got a job at, which started this horrible career I started on that led to me becoming a podcaster. Thank God it led me here. But videos were different, people. I don't know if the streaming live pay-per-views were different. We would have to fight. You'd have to try to get to the video store before anybody, and if you didn't drive, if you were too young to drive, it was a horrible situation. But you have to beg someone to take you to the video store, and you'd have to try to get in there before some other asshole rented the tape. And you'd run in there, and the tape, the box, this giant box that the tape would be in from the factory, would be up against the shelf, and there would be no box tape behind it because somebody else had rented it. So you would have, sorry, you would have to go in there multiple times trying to find a time where that tape would be behind there so you could watch the Royal Rumble. And that's how you got to, and now it's not going to exist anymore.
Well, here's the thing. Look, we joked about this, Myron. Sorry, focus. Focus. It's fun. If you're listening on the podcast, that made no sense. But like I said, dude, I didn't even realize this was still a thing. I've had the WWE Network since day one. I haven't bought a DVD, rented for nothing since. But apparently, like Crown Jewel, I think is going to be the last one for the UK and Europe markets. Survivor Series will be the last one. You know what's funny? I think I might run out and buy a Survivor Series. So then you could argue you have the last DVD, blue, whatever, ever produced for WWE.
Wouldn't you have to buy it from W.com?
Nah, they probably have it at Walmart.
Well, if I see it in Walmart, I'll buy it.
Because
why would they stop?
I don't want to be that guy, Myron, but if somebody's going to have it, it's going to be Walmart. And for the record, I was at Walmart yesterday getting some stuff. So
that's where they'll deliver it to the masses.
Correct.
I don't have. I actually do. I have probably somewhere. There's a functional DVD player I picked up at Goodwill, and I still put them when I build a computer. I still put a DVD player in them in case I need to read an ancient piece of software.
Dude, I have 3 in my house. They have not been used in minimum 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, the last time one of my daughter's boyfriends looked at a computer I'd built, he's like, "Why does he put those things in there? What are they for?"
It's called a drive, buddy.
Okay, I've used them before.
Yeah,
it's like $15. And they've all these slots for them. I'm going to slap one in case I ever use it. So I have a DVD, but I never use it.
But here's the thing.
Now I have something to do with the last disc WWE ever makes.
It's a digital world. Like, we've moved on, and I understand, like, it's a profitability thing. It's about, look, if they're producing them, they're making them, and they're not selling them. Obviously, they flounder around for years. The sales have floundered for years. So, look, we made a case, and I want to bring this up. There's a lot of people that are gamers that listen to the show, and there was a big stink that came out this week, or the past week at this point, whatever, with the PlayStation Network, where they announced that essentially they lost content rights to certain games or videos or something, I guess. And by the way, I'm not on PlayStation Network, so guilty.
We're PC gamers, so
we are
PlayStation peasants. Go away.
Well, no, I get it. There's a lot of people there, and everybody thought, "Oh, I was that guy." Because look, me and you do it with Steam, where we buy our PC games on there. Like, we'll just play wherever. And but they were like, the content licenses are up, product's going to be pulled. Doesn't matter whether you bought it or not. Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to have it, it's gone. Yeah. So then I was like, oh crap, there might be an argument for physical, copies to have, which in the past I haven't. But look, it's you could argue back and forth, but at the bottom, TKO now, the merged company, it's about profitability. That's it.
Well, I mean, I had posted a link to this whole story, and people were like, "Oh no, this is not." Why? Everybody was upset. Like, this is the biggest thing ever happened. They're betraying us. But you haven't bought these things. Had you actively been out there buying these?
Hold on. If you have, email us that you have and what you purchased, when you purchased it, at tappedoutpod@gmail.com. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'll send you a collection of our shows
digitally
on digital.
I'll send you the link.
To link to all our shows.
I'll send you the YouTube link to all of our shows. Right. Exactly.
There
is no physical copy of our show.
But cost cutting is what happens.
Although there was that one time somebody talked about doing that. We're going to leave that alone.
Oh my God.
Somebody said they could make physical copies of our show and release them on DVD. You remember that?
Yes, I remember.
Okay, move on.
Business propositions in the wrestling world, people, I will tell you, if you ever get involved in the business side of the professional wrestling broadcasting world, you will be given many business propositions. But cost cutting is probably the biggest one you'll ever see. And guess who's talking about another cost cutting proposition?
Yeah, it's not just the home video market that's going to take because look, that's going away, period. Now TKO COO Mark Shapiro comes out and makes an announcement that, look, we might consider cutting back on some house shows, some live events as they call them. Specifically, I think the smaller markets are probably what are the most in danger. And it's the same reason why. I mean, it's look. I know somebody shot back on one of the posts like, "Wait a minute, you said live event revenue was up." So, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, but it's very skewed by those 17,000 people Raws and the big shows that are in the big markets and things like that." I've look, we've gone to some of the house shows at times, and they're not near as full. It's not because it's a different environment. By the way, I enjoy it. I actually like the live shows. I might actually like the live show more than I like the TV tapings at times.
At times, yes, they're
Yeah,
fun.
that's what.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing, people: don't bitch about the DVs. Don't bitch about the live shows. Don't bitch about the house shows unless you're going or buying. Okay. The reason these things are being scaled back is because people aren't taking advantage of them. If you were pounding these house shows, if you were crowding these things out,
I'll
they
push
would've
back a
even-
little.
Okay.
I don't know that necessarily the smaller market is that they're not selling out the buildings as much as I just think it's just not as profitable because it's typically in a smaller building, less seats. And then I'm guessing in some of the smaller markets, like the tickets aren't as high. So even though you may be selling it out, but if it's like, look, if it's just not a super because you got to remember back in the day, the live event business was the driving. That was like you were trying to drive people there to sell those tickets. The model's changed a little bit now, so it's not the biggest part of your profit anymore. There still is a value there. That is guys getting reps, and there are staying it. So I don't think it's safe to ever cut back completely, like to nothing. That was one of my biggest concerns when AEW started, that they were going to do TV and that was it. And I was like, dude, guys are going to get hurt because they're just not getting enough reps and getting enough reps in. So I think you got to kind of stay on top of that. I just think maybe like I think the comment was you don't have to run every weekend. Like so if you're running two small markets, maybe that's a weekend the guys just have off.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I think AEW probably could use more reps and more practice with some of their guys.
Well,
And maybe if WWE doesn't run these house shows, maybe that's a market AEW could tap into.
Go smaller buildings, smaller markets, run more could be. Who knows? I mean, that's for sure. I think that could be a great way for them to build their base because for a lot of people, that was kind of the whole point of the smaller markets is you connect at a grassroots level with, the more rural areas of the country, and you get a hold of that, they become more loyal. So AEW could take advantage of that. That's a good point.
But I mean, if you were to come to Gwinnett County once a month, wouldn't that become something you'd be more loyal to? I mean, we've got
they're never going to run once a month. I mean, they're not going to come here once a month. But I mean, if they were here a couple times a year, but they were running Gwinnett instead of State Farm, and they were selling that building out. And even doing live events when they're not doing TV.
Yeah.
I think that's the big plus, I think. Because I do like the live. I think the live event connects more with the fans in general. So, but anyway. I just think ultimately what we have to come to grips with now is WWE is not just a wrestling company. They're a bigger conglomerate, and they're going to run on financials and the business side of it. And that's what matters more than anything is, what they're doing with their money.
Well, they're able to analyze on a much bigger level than they've ever been able to before.
Oh, they're going line by line. That's the thing. Yeah, there's somebody going line by line going, we could shave here, we could shave here, we could shave here. So, but look, with that money that they are saving, every week we moved it around this week. So one of our favorite segments we're going to do earlier in the show, we normally do it towards the end, right before the Indies, but we got something else special set up for that whole. But jump right into it early. Pro Wrestling Tees shirt of the week, Myron. Look, friend of the show. We ran into him at WrestleCade, and I was like, dude, we got to get it. Alan Angels.
Yep.
Rockstar Vibes. He's got a bunch of shirts over there, obviously. The link is in the show notes. Make sure you're clicking on it. Jump over there, check out, grab a few shirts. He's just rocking it down there in Impact right now. Big stuff coming for him. I hope we see that more of him down the road. And got a feeling that we're going to see a title around Alan Angels way sooner than later over there in Impact.
Yeah. I really had a good time getting to see him at WrestleCade. A great time seeing his dad. I know you didn't get to see his dad. I got to briefly see his dad. I'm hoping I get to see his dad at some shows around here now. Pop, if you need a ride to some stuff or you want to come hang out with us, just let us know. Really enjoyed getting to see you. But man, that's somebody we've known. I was telling him, it's like, we've known him since he was like 15 years old. Well, maybe not, but I mean, it seems like forever. How old is he
Feels
now?
like it. Yeah, he's barely, he's barely like he's just a baby still. So I do agree with you, but it was awesome. It's been awesome seeing him, taking off, doing well. Had that stint in AEW, had it obviously down. Now he's in Impact. But look, we wish him nothing but. But yeah, I'm kind of brokenhearted. I miss Papa Angels at WrestleCade, so I do got to catch up with him soon enough. But look, speaking a little bit of AEW, man, comments came out this week. Eric Bischoff made some comments about the devil angle. And it kind of brought the question of like, is this AEW devil angle? Is it doomed to fail now?
Well, I
And
mean, the big bad is gone.
well, I think that's kind of been what the pieces I think are what's making it bad. It was doing really well, and I love that there was what how kind of they were progressing with it. But then of course when Punk was when he was gone, and then the problem was the rumors started that it was Punk. Like it could be Punk, man. What if it's CM Punk? What if it's Punk? Okay, well he's gone. He's in WWE now. It's not him. So the problem becomes anybody, and I mean anybody else, almost feels like it's going to be a complete letdown with who it is. You know what I mean? So, look, now we're hearing names I actually thought from day one, I never thought it was Punk. I thought it was Adam Cole. Well, then he got hurt. They could still come back. I don't know how long is Adam Cole is out, by the way. I don't know at all. I can't remember off the top of my head how long he's out. Could it still be him? Sure. But is it going to be like, you know what I mean? It's like, but it's not CM Punk. We've heard Wardlow maybe or something, or we've heard because he has the feud with MJF that he was it's like, oh my God, it's Jungle Jack Perry or Jack Perry. He's going to be the guy, and that's going to be a great way to bring him back and make him. And I'm like, dude, fuck, that would be a letdown dramatically, in my opinion. Now, I understand people could be excited about it, and I'm not saying. I just said for me. That's just all I'm saying.
I'm just having trouble getting excited about AEW storylines anymore, Nick, because it seems like they have 10,000 of them and they don't amount to much, and they drop them like it's hot, and then they pick them up, and then they just want to have matches, and it just I'm really floundering. I got to admit it. I'm really floundering with AEW. I've been trying, but it's just not getting me anymore. Okay? I'll admit to it. It's hard for me to keep up with. The storylines seem like seasonal almost.
Well, the struggle is we're going to get into it, but I don't know how much stories there's there, and we're going to discuss that in a little bit. But look, can they right the ship? Absolutely. Do I think they could? I think now though, and this sounds terrible on my part, and I'm fully aware of that. And if you've got a suggestion who you think it'll be, who it might be, tappedoutpod@gmail.com. Who's your thoughts of who you think it'll be? Awesome. Let us know. Because they can do something. I think now, in my opinion, what I'm afraid of, are you doing a little bit of damage control and trying to come up with the best thing that's not going to be CM Punk? I think it's probably Adam Cole, but how do you, again, with his injury, how do you get there? Because if you go too long, I just think it gets worse and worse and worse. So, but like you said, I mean, look, but it's a story attempt, which is kind of what we talked about here. I got a little pushback when we discussed last week about QT leaving and about how they need to focus on more story and not just match quality and all that kind of stuff.
How could you get pushback on what has traditionally been what wrestling has done and has been successful with, and what has motivated people to watch wrestling since the dawn of professional wrestling?
Okay, because I understand. Here's the thing: I do kind of understand some of their viewpoint. A lot of the stuff I got, the emails and the DMs and stuff that I got were, I like wrestling. I want to see good matches and I want to see wrestling. I don't want it for all of the showy stuff and all of the the character. I want wrestling. And I'm like, look, I enjoy wrestling too. I love a great match as well, just probably as much as the next guy. However, most fans, that's kind of not what they got to have a little, like, they got to have a little sizzle with the steak. You can't just give them the match and then the average fan, like, they have to care. The problem is most fans, pointing in general, is that we tend to believe everybody feels like we do. Everybody thinks the same way we do. And that what you like, everybody likes, right? But the argument that I was trying to get to here is most people want story, not dream matches. And if you're not drawing a new crowd and you're not growing and you're not getting any bigger, well, what happens, Myron?
You die on the vine, man. You just die.
Go away. Yeah.
I sat there last night and actually watched NXT with my wife and son, and that never happens. You know, our house is perpetually set to watch SVU nonstop. Okay, the TV never changes from SVU. But after SVU went off last night, NXT came on. And me and the wife were sitting there watching NXT. And she had her own critiques. She enjoyed several parts of it. She loved Otis because Otis reminding her of me, a large, sexy man who has gyrations and things. I get it. I saw where that similarity came from. But a lot of the wrestling things, she couldn't have cared less about. She liked the personalities. She liked the crazy violence. She liked the outfits. Different things about wrestling that you wouldn't have liked.
Theatrics.
Theatrics.
Yeah.
Okay? She didn't care about match quality. But that's somebody different. That's a different opinion. You can't sit 9 people down or 10 people down in a room and come out with one opinion about something. It doesn't matter what it is.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
This is somebody asked me one day, and we were trying to go back and forth, and I share your opinions at tappedoutpod@gmail.com. My question to somebody was, I said, what most people don't get, let's back up. What most diehard wrestling fans that are like all about match quality don't get, the casual fan couldn't tell you the difference between a 3, 4, 5, 6-star match. They can tell you the difference between a 5-star and a 1-star. And what I mean by that, it's got to be a clunky or a dud. Like if guys are constantly just messing up and it just looks like a discombobulated mess, but all that other stuff, they don't know. As long as it's just like, it looks, they're doing hit their spots, they're doing their stuff, but there's some story in there and they're involved, they're in.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, how many great 5-star matches did you see as a kid? How many 5-star matches did Dusty Rhodes have?
Look, they were all 5-star matches to me. If you ask me,
that's
yes.
all that matters.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, and they weren't work rate matches. They were not that he couldn't, but they weren't. But it was just totally different. I mean, because look, we just are learning. I mean, I hate to be negative Nelly on here. Look, well, there's friends of ours that we know that we absolutely love and adore that are at Ring of Honor. That tries to be the pure wrestling promotion. And dude, they don't have 1,000 tickets. Well, full disclosure, they may have it now. But when we were getting ready to do the recording and we were looking up the numbers, they hadn't broke 1,000 tickets for their next pay-per-view. We've been to Indy shows that were 1,000. And so my point being is people just have to come to grips with story matters. And if you don't believe me, by the way, in my personal opinion, the absolute best thing going on in AEW right now is Christian and Adam Copeland.
Yes.
Because Christian's he's off the charts good right now. He may not have ever been better than he is right now as far as his character.
Well, he's always been second fiddle. He's always been a mediocre character.
I disagree, but go ahead.
As far as like he's never really been this good a heel, do you think?
I do.
Okay, well.
You weren't big on the Impact era, like the TNA era.
I missed a lot of that.
Yeah, I think he was really good there. Babyface, all the above. But my thing is, it's so story driven. And they're going to have, by the way, we're recording, so tonight, if you're listening to it last night, whatever, our time travel issue with Dynamite is they're going to have a steel cage match.
Oh, I love a steel cage match.
Adam Copeland versus Christian. I think it's in Montreal. I think.
Ooh.
They cared about where, not when. That's why it's not on a pay-per-view, by the way. But the point being, it's story. They're not going to have to go out there and they're not going to have to kill each other in the ring, and people are going to care because they've built this really good story. Story matters more to me. Story matters. Story matters more than anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean that's why
the match has to be serviceable.
People tune in for the storylines.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's just what it is. People have to care about why people are fighting. Once they care about why people are fighting, that's why they tune in. And if the fighting is really good, it's a bonus. But they have to care while they're fighting.
No, I agree, 100%.
That's.
Look,
I don't know why it's so complicated.
And when we're talking about like the whole people that care, and about how it emotionally attaches to kids, I wanted to jump in here for a minute and mention, look, Mason is we've always talked about, we love going to see, to shows, and we see Alex there, and, he's there typically with his family, Alex Andrews specifically, I guess I should say the last name, and his son Mason is gotta be to me one of the absolute biggest wrestling fans. I'm gonna get there.
I keep this on my desk next to my Bruce Pritchard card because I always have to remember.
I can't get to mine. It's right over there it's literally next to my Dusty Rhodes trading card.
Out. Oh my God, I keep this. They made that for us. These people have to be the biggest wrestling fans in Georgia. They go to see more wrestling, except for maybe Angela Fields. Okay, she goes to see a lot of wrestling. But as a kid, nobody goes, and as a family, nobody goes to more wrestling than Alex and Mason.
I think that I'll agree with them as the family, but I agree, man. But listen, they make trading cards. I mean, they go to all the shows. And why are we talking about Mason, right? Because Mason put a list out, and it actually got a lot of traction with a lot of the talents, which just popped me completely because it's really cool to see that the wrestlers know they made a connection.
Yeah.
And for his list, and they were from all over. I mean, literally all over Georgia. They're hitting all of the anything remotely close, it seems like they go to. And we're going to discuss all those promotions in a little bit, but kudos to Mason for putting his list out there for a fan to
That's
put
a
out
service.
a list.
That kid did a serious service for Georgia wrestling.
Yeah, kudos, Mason. Look, he's our favorite fan. He just absolutely is. I can't tell you enough how much we love going to shows and actually watching him watch wrestling. Sometimes to me,
an official ambassador. We'll name him an official ambassador. The Tap Out Wrestling podcast.
We got to get him a shirt. That's what we got him a shirt.
We did. We got him
that's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot we got him a little shirt. Yeah. So I thought we did. But look, hopefully we're going to run into him this week because that's right. It is show week for Southern Honor. And before we talk about it, Myron, I got a little surprise for you. Here it goes.
Attention wrestling fans, join us Friday, December 8th for our final show of the year as Southern Honor Wrestling presents SHW 57. Live from the Action Building in Canton, Georgia. After making waves for the past several months in Ring of Honor, the Infantry returns home to SHW to take on Georgia's two-time Tag Team of the Year, Exotic Youth. The ongoing feud between Ashton Starr and Movie Mike finally comes to a head as they do battle in a Petty Party Rules match. And in our main event, one half of the SHW Tag Team Champions, Joe Black, looks to become a double champ as he takes on the Southern Honor Champion, Judias, with the title on the line. All this and so much more as we usher in the holiday season with another massive card. Trust us, you don't want to miss this show. Tickets start at just $15 and go on sale at the Action Building the night of the show beginning at 5 p.m. Doors open at 7, bell time at 8. As always, kids 10 and under are free. Invite all your friends and show them why we are SHW and this is our wrestling.
That's right, man. This Friday, Southern Honor back in the Action Building up in Canton. Another stacked card. We'll go through the card a little bit. We're not going to go through every single match. We apologize because of time. You know what? Let's do it. Let's make some picks, Myron. I popped
So
something
happy.
on you.
So happy. Go ahead.
So we got Joe Black versus Judas for the Southern Honor title.
I'm a Judas mark. I have to say it. I can't. That guy. Total Judas mark. I'm sorry, Joe, but I'm a Judas mark.
Listen, we love Joe Black. I mean, obviously, we booked Joe on our show. We've been fans, for a long time. Judas is just on such a hot streak right now.
Yeah.
He's currently Southern Honors champion, Southern Frieds champion, and the Anarchy champion.
Yeah.
I'm like
the trinity of North Georgia wrestling, pretty much.
Yeah. Danny Jordan versus Kylie Alexa. She's part of that Pretty Empowered team. Like she just recently had a match with Kenzie Page at Southern Honor.
So she's the tag team champion for the NWA, the sister of the NWA Women's Champion. I can't go against Danny. Danny has shown out every time she's had a chance to wrestle any of these big name talents and shown off why she's probably the best unsigned talent in the Southeast right now. Unsigned women's talent by far.
Now, here's the match. I'm not going to lie to you. It's one of the ones I've been really itching to see since they announced it. Exotic Youth versus the Infantry. Look, we've been down with Carly Bravo for a long time. I think Carly talent. Remember, he was like, when he was here, we kept saying, like, why is he not signed?
Yes.
I don't understand it. He's now signed. He is at Ring of Honor. Him and Sean Dean are your infantry. But right now, one of the hottest teams in Georgia is Exotic Youth.
Yes.
And
I love this. This is going to be so much fun.
I can't give them too much love in the same show, so I'm going to go infantry. I'm going to give some love later to Exotic Youth, so I can't.
Okay.
I can only stomach so much love, right? Yeah. They know we love them, but that's a whole other story. Ashton Starr, Movie Mike. This one's simple, man. Ashton's due.
Yeah.
And this
Movie Mike was at WrestleCade. Did you see him?
I did see him there. I did see him, yep.
Did you talk to him?
Briefly. I
didn't talk to him. He didn't.
I just said hello to him. Yeah, so.
But I would have talked to Ashton Starr had he been there. Because Ashton Starr is one of the super nicest, one of the most talented wrestlers in Georgia. Somebody I think the world of. Yeah. I can't wait to see this match, and I'm going to be pulling for Ashton Starr the whole time.
I think Ashton Starr picks up the win. We've talked about him. It's due for Ashton to start chasing some gold and getting some gold, and I think this is the win that starts to catapult him up into making that next run. Because currently the next match is a guy who's in that pursuit, Hunter James versus Hunter Drake. I guess we're going hunting. Listen, oh, God, it pains me every time I have to say this. Hunter James, that's my pick.
No, there's no way else to pick anybody in this match besides Hunter James. Hunter James outclassed this guy. I only hope Tristan's there with him because Tristan is probably the manager of the year in Georgia this year. I don't care what anyone says. Hunter James is an amazing talent. Hunter James shows out. Hunter James is right now. Have you seen those new T-shirts?
I did.
Oh, my God. They're amazing. They're just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get myself one.
Check one out on Pro Wrestling Tees, Hunter James. Go ahead.
But dude, this right here, every time you get an opportunity for Hunter James to show out, which he will in this match, can't wait to see it. Amazing talent.
So Hunter James is our pick there. Rob Killjoy coming back-to-back shows.
Good to see Rob Killjoy, but against Lev, no. And last night the topic came up. They were talking about and me and Sam Skaggs, I can't call him anything but handsome. We had a couple of conversations. One of the conversations I got involved with last night, they were talking about Rookie of the Year. Georgia doesn't have a Rookie of the Year. I know Larry was talking about making one, but they were talking, one of the candidates was Lev, Alexander Lev. By far, Rookie of the Year if we have one. He just debuted on the NWA, okay? How does that not seal Rookie of the Year? Have you seen his body transformation? Have you seen his body of work? Have you not seen the fact he debuted on the NWA? Have you named anyone else on their rookie year in Georgia that made an NWA debut and has done as much as he has? And it's pissed off as many people as he has, by far. But the thing I'm really, really excited about is the Naja Open Challenge, Nick.
Hold on. You stole my thought. I didn't get to pick.
Oh.
I'm taking Lev just because he'll cheat.
This is going to be really exciting.
He's dirty, and he'll cheat, and he'll get the win. I just don't trust him not to cheat, so that's why.
This is going to be a good test of Lev because Killjoy is incredibly talented.
Yeah. So now to your I'm sorry to cut you off there. Naja System has an open challenge. Look, I would watch my back if I was Naja. I know at the last show, him and Owen tore the house down, and they went through the table, off of the wall and everything. Just be careful. Open challenges always kind of make me nervous because they don't usually go well for the guy who has the open challenge like that. Usually there's a surprise at hand. So just watch your back. So I will tell you this, though. I wouldn't be shocked if it's somebody new, because that's actually one of the things as I was sitting here looking at the card. It's a new mix. There's some new names, new faces. I really like that. We need that, I think, a little bit more all over the state. We need a little variety is the spice of life. And I think that would be handy, to say the least, when we get into this conversation. I wanted to also have a conversation, Mike, when we're talking about, look, make sure you're up there. Friday night, Action Building, Canton, Georgia. Doors open at 7. Bell time is 8. Hit the road. We'll be there. I know a couple people have said, hey, where we sit in the corner over on the side. Come find us, say hello. We greatly appreciate it. We love saying hello to everybody. Now, second conversation about some that was going on online, and it kind of threw us. Sorry, I gotta give some love to some of God at Youth members. I almost threw up a little bit. Bryce Cannon is the new Lariato Pro champion. Defeats John Schuyler. By the way, they drew like 600.
I'm interested in this. I want to hear more about this.
Yeah.
I need some definition, people. I need to talk to people about this. I will be seeking out Bryce Cannon at this show to talk to him. Anyone else who's on the card want to talk to me about this? Anyone that was in the crowd or anyone promoting this show would like to talk to me about this, I'm interested. I was accused by Hanson of not giving a shit about anything but a few promotions in Georgia. And only of certain parts of Georgia, the north part of Georgia. So I kind of took that to heart. And you know what? It's true. I've been biased. I have not traveled enough. I have not seen enough of certain things. So my challenge is this year, it's December. So for 2024, I am going to make a point to try to see more of what's going on in Georgia. I want to get more and see more of what is Lariato? What are they doing? I've seen their posters for a long time, but I've never got out there. Okay. There are a lot of promotions, a lot of big promotions that I go to on a regular basis. Yeah. A lot of new promotions I've been going to, but am I missing this kind of thing? Nick?
So, okay, I'm going to, does Lariato get lost in the shuffle? That was the question. And it's, look, I know a lot of the other promotions, Southern Honor, Southern Fried, Anarchy, IWE, Viral, as well. Like a lot of those, promotions get most of the love in the state of Georgia. There's plenty of other promotions out there. Classic City, Myron, they've been doing these crazy shows with the bands and they've been doing great. I got nothing but love and respect to those guys. Southern States, their whole concept is built on developing young talents, but yet still bringing in some of the biggest names in Georgia to work the shows. Because look, the kids have to learn from somebody who's better than, that's really good in the ring. That's how you get better. It's not by two trainees wrestling each other. Nobody gets better that way in the long run, in the grand scheme of things. I want to share the love to promotions that don't get a lot of love. We talked about it. UWF, SCA, OSWA, KLT, Wrestling at Southern, even Wrestle America. Wrestle America gets a pretty good bit of love. I will say that. They get a lot of love. And it's funny because I think sometimes like the smaller promotions, and I'm not using that list I just said, I'm saying the smaller promotions don't get as much love, but it's like, look, I really respect the fact that they're there. They serve their purpose.
Yes.
It is a place for younger guys to get an opportunity to work and develop, and progress through throughout the state. that being said, I kind of want to push back a little bit because I said something. We had this conversation a little bit about like, oh well, nobody. It's not that nobody cares. It's not. First of all, I pushed back to somebody and said, look, we do talk about indie wrestling, we do, but we're not that's not our show. Like we're a national show. Like we cover, the WWE, Impact and AEW and blah, 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 all those things. And we just happen to hey, we go to some shows. And this is not a knock on anybody. I promise you this is not, but it's going to be taken this way. What I meant by this was I said, we don't claim to be covering Georgia wrestling. So my point is, I have a family, I have friends, I have, work, things like that to do. It's like, dude, I'm not, it's not my job, because I don't promise you that I'm covering Georgia wrestling in that sense of the word. You got to get me to your show. I'm a fan. I'm just a fan. I'm not a journalist. We're two fans who do a podcast. And so the point is, you got to get me to your show.
One thing is, how much I spent an amazing
I'm sorry,
amount of
I want to cut you off. There is such thing as too far.
Yes.
There is. And respectively, I say that. There is too far. I'd love to see, WWE shows in Nashville when they're there. It's too far. So anyway, go ahead.
We spent an amazing amount of time talking about Georgia wrestling just for fun. Okay. I talk to people all the time about Georgia wrestling because I love Georgia wrestling. Georgia wrestling is a passion of mine. But let me be 100% honest with you people. My friends that run wrestling promotions make me welcome there. So it's hard for me to go other places.
It's not that. I'm just literally time and, there's only, so many. Dude, I missed the last Southern Fried Show on Thanksgiving. I had family to do. It wasn't, anyway.
But it's not, let
me ask you this is, yes, very much so.
It's a hobby.
The other question somebody asked me the other day, and I want to ask this question to the people that listen. tappedoutpod@gmail.com. Aren't there too many promotions in Georgia?
We are in a unique post-COVID cycle, I think, where we're getting a lot of promotions again, where things are going back up. Will it self-correct? It'll probably self-correct when summertime hits.
Dude, there was a running joke the other day that there was another promotion possibly coming to Georgia. We're not going to discuss who it is and what it was.
I think that promotion is uniquely positioned in a spot where it might thrive.
By the record, I don't think it ever runs. Just so you know, I've been on the record going I just don't think it's I don't. Anyway, we don't want to give too much away. I can't. I'm
always sneaky. Always sneaky.
Yeah.
Always.
Anyway, so the answer might be, there might be too many promotions. Because look, if there's 15 promotions, there's only so many bodies. Somebody's got to commit to going outside and bringing in other newer talents. Everybody claims they are. They do. Everybody claims they do, but do they really? Let's find out.
Look at
That's the
NWA,
challenge.
Nick. What do you say the NWA expands into Georgia? Why not?
Yeah, by the way, if you're listening to the podcast, my eyes literally just rolled to the back of my head. I listen. There are moments where I think they serve their purpose. As much negative stuff as we've heard about cost cutting and budgeting and wrestlers leaving and all of the stuff from the NWA, why would an indie promotion in their right mind attach themselves to it? Hey, we're an affiliate with Indy. Really? Why don't you go talk to Impact and work out something with them? Why don't you talk to just anybody at this point? Why would you even remotely attach to the NWA at this point? What does it accomplish for you?
I don't know about the contracts. I have not talked to anybody about the NWA associate contracts or territory contracts, so I don't know what to tell you. Is it a beneficial thing? Is it something where you share talent, or do they bring developmental through? I don't know. If anyone knows what these contracts are about on the real business level.
Okay, you can't convince me as bad a shape as they're in. And look, we have people that we love that work there. Doesn't matter. I still think I think they're in a bad place right now, and I just wouldn't attach. I wouldn't become let me ask you. Here we're talking about Georgia indie promotions. There are certain promotions I would say yes. If you got approached, consider it. You can't tell me in your right mind, because remember, back in the day, Southern Fried, Southern Honor, Anarchy, Viral, IWE, Wrestle America, I probably wouldn't say. Why would any of them, if they were approached to join the NWA, why would they? Or would they? That's the question. tappedoutpod@gmail.com. Would they? And if your answer is yes, why? Like, what's in it for you to say you're an NWA affiliate? I mean, do you get to like, oh, we get to book the champion at a discounted rate? Doubt it.
Well, right. I mean, right now, Dylan is bringing in NWA people. Now, I don't know how he's doing it.
Yeah. Hey, raise your hand, because guess what you can do? If you're an NWA talent, you can take indie bookings. So if there's a promoter out there willing to pay you, he can book you. He doesn't need to be affiliated with the NWA to book you. The only problem is if they're running the same day, they can pull you away without, saying anything. You can just really tell the wrestler he can't be there because he's going to be needed on TV. But that's a whole different, by the way, that's probably part of my other issue with that whole situation.
Well, the NWA books, they run a schedule much like Impact, where when they're gonna run. So, and tape, they're not going to be pulling you off.
No, I know. I'm just saying if they told you one night, they may have told you no, and then they can say, "Oh, we changed our mind. We're going to do it." So,
I haven't heard about that with NWA. Anyway, and Billy. If
I
you
just
want
don't
to talk.
Yeah, I just don't see the positive
off the record.
I could totally be inaccurate. I just don't see the benefit of it at all. And if somebody can, you know me, I'm as open-minded as anybody. I can be convinced if somebody's got a great argument. I just don't know why they would. So that's a whole other different cards. But anyway, they're back to our original point of like Georgia, there's just tons of good promotions. And we do want to plug them and say, like, look, go out, go see. If you're in North Georgia, UWF, SCA, over on the other side's KLT, the wrestling at Southern, they do the Athens show. They do tons of shows, but the Athens is a big one for them. Classic Cities in Athens, because look, we always are giving love, right, to the big ones that, like, look, Southern Honor, we're going to be there. Southern Fried, we typically hit those at, every time we can. On and on and on, like I've cut a couple Viral, like it's a stretch, but I've done it a couple times.
I'm looking forward to Southern States. It's going to be in Swanee, which is like right near my house.
Yep.
I can't wait for that.
There's a small chance I'm going to be able to make that one. Yeah.
Okay. I can't wait.
So yeah, that should be fun. So, man, just make sure you're like supporting wrestling any way you can, just like you guys do us. Check us out, man, over on our YouTube channel. Like I said, like the page, turn your notifications on, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know the routine. You could even become a member there. The handle is Tapped Out Pod, just like it is everywhere. And look, Patreon as well. If you want to become a member over there, some people prefer the old Patreon, especially if you already got Patreon memberships to other things. Some people that look at, you're a podcast, right? Yeah, we're on podcast players too, guys. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, even on Amazon. Yes, that's right. We are on Amazon. Make sure you're subscribing. Give us a 5-star rating and review. We greatly appreciate all the love we've gotten over the years. Look, that is not wasted, especially as we are coming to an end of another calendar year. We're always thankful and blessed, and we're saying, all the stuff that we're thankful for. And this is, one of those things for sure. We greatly appreciate you guys' support over the 7.5 years almost, Myron.
It's been a wonderful experience. I love every minute of it. I love every one of my people that listen. I love every friend I've met. Every experience has been wonderful, except booking shows, but that was great.
That was fun and won and done. That's what. Yeah. So that's.
I gotta go. I actually gotta go call my pharmacy to get some more blood pressure pills.
Yeah, exactly. Before we do that again, Myron's gonna need to up his dose on his blood pressure medicine. Anything else before we get out of here, Myron?
No, man. I'm happy. I've had a great week. I can't wait to get to Southern Honor this weekend. NXT's got a great looking pay-per-view this weekend. The last one I checked out was awesome. The last one. So. I don't know how much I'm going to get out. I'm still recovering from some of this crud, but I look forward to seeing all my friends. I look forward to just getting out there and socializing again.
Yeah. And shout out again, once again. Look, we wish we had more kids like Mason out there. Keep knocking out lists. Keep knocking out those cards, man. Look, I don't think he realizes how much of an impact he had on wrestlers, with the cards and the tree, all that kind of stuff, dude. It's awesome. We need more fans like Mason. That's what we need in the world. So,
Yes.
So if that's everything you got, Myron, what's the old
I got
saying, brother?
nothing else.
If I've got nothing and you've got nothing, what time is it?
It's time to tap out.